This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, good morning, guys. So, in today's class, what we are going to see is the file upload and download. So, for file upload and download, actually, there are two scenarios that we get in the real time. And the first one is single file uploader. I will show you the difference between the single file upload and multi-file upload. If you go to create employee screen, this is called single file uploader. So whenever you want to upload a single file, we use this one. This is a browse button, so which opens the dialog. You can just come here and select whatever the file that you want. Okay, so that's basically the single file uploader. So like this, you can simply select. Okay, and if you click on the upload button, so this will be sent to the backend. And there is a multi-file uploader, so which is this one. This is called multi-file uploader. So let me click on plus button. So here you can select multiple things as well. So at a time you can select multiple also, and otherwise you can simply keep on adding the photos like this. So it automatically shows which type of file it is. If it is an image, it comes like this. If it is a PDF, so let me select some PDF as well. For example, if you take this, so this is a PDF and automatically it brings the PDF icon. And similarly, for example, Word document, you can see the Word document contains the letter W, and similarly XLX contains something like Excel symbol and maybe the letter as well. Okay, so it is showing pending 0%. This indicates that the file has been uploaded in this file multi-file uploader UI element, but it has not yet sent to the backend. Okay, so you need to click on this button, upload resumes. Then only these files will be sent to the and the UI element. This multi-file uploader, it gives some features out of the box, and those are whatever you uploaded. For example, you may think like this is not required, then you can delete also. So this delete into button and this confirmation window, you no need to write any code. So this comes automatically. And similarly, if you want to rename this one, for example, you uploaded this one, but you want to rename this, you no need to remove and upload with the appropriate name. So there is a direct rename facility here. So you can rename with whatever you want and just click on outside and immediately this will be renamed. Okay, so click on cancel, that's all. So these features are coming out of the box for this multi-file uploader. So this UI element is called upload set. So this is what we are going to work on this week completely. So that is single file uploader and multi-file uploader. Right, this is from the front end angle. But in today's class, so we are going to see this single file uploader, that is to upload your photo. Okay, I want at least one of your photo to upload the profile picture. Now let us see from the backend angle. So what are all the things that are needed? So from the backend angle, to store this file information, you need a table. Okay, or some people have some document server. Okay, so they can store the files in that shared in a shared document folder, somewhere they will be having, right? So in that also they can share. So we are taking the tab, we are going to store all these profile picture and resumes of the employees in the separate tables. So first thing, we need to create a table. I'm going to create the table as ZB70. underscore photos. So this is the table. And next important point is there should be uh, 4 bare minimum fields must be present in a table which is storing this kind of file information. Bare minimum. Minimum means these minimum fields must be there, and if you want to add extra fields, that's up to you. Okay, but most probably, from my real-time experience, I am telling you, most of the people will keep these bare minimum fields only. They don't keep extra. Okay, right. So what are the bare minimum fields that must be present in these tables? The first one is employee ID, which is the primary key. Second one, file name, file type, file content. So these are the 4 fields you will find for any table or any entity which is basically carrying the file information from front end to the back end. Okay, so what are those? First one is the primary key, employee ID, and then file name means name of the file that you are uploading, type of the file that you are uploading, and file content. So this file content is a hexadecimal string. Hexadecimal string. So hexadecimal string means the file content will be converted into this format, which we call it as hexadecimal string. So basically 0 to 9, A to F. So A to F, yeah. So A to F, if your string contains only 0 to 9 digits and A to F characters, then that particular string is called a hexadecimal string. And the front end, from the front end, when you upload the file content will go to the back end in a hexadecimal string. Now, without any delay, let us create this table and the corresponding entity, and then we will write the file upload and file download code from the backend first. And in tomorrow's class, we are going to write the file upload and download code from the front end. Okay, right. So if you understand single file uploader, multi-file uploader is also same to same. 99% it is same. Okay, so let me log in here. So let's go to first SC11 to create the table. I will quickly create the table ZB70 photos, and yeah, that's all. Let me click on create. Description photos B70 batch 70 photos table, and then delivery class. Yeah, and this all this is common, and then employee ID, file name, file type, and file content. All right, then the primary key is employee ID, and let's write the built-in type. This is character of 6, and file name. So let's give some 50 characters. File type also I'm giving 50 characters. And the file content, for the file content, we need to use the data element called xstring val. Yeah. So xstring val is a predefined data element which denotes your raw string, that is nothing but a hexadecimal string. So once the file is uploaded, and if we come to this table and see the file content column, then you will find the entire file will be in a hexadecimal format. Okay, fine. So we have successfully created the table. So mostly all the real-time applications which are storing the file information will contain only these 4 fields. So more than that, not required. So let's activate this. So we need to fill this with data class APPL0 and size category. You give something. Save and return. So warnings occurred, you can ignore the warnings, not required. Okay. So unlike the other tables where we inserted some entries initially, so we cannot make the entries into this table manually because so you can insert employee ID, you can insert a file name, you can give some file type, but how can you give file content? So the file content will be a very huge hexadecimal string, correct? So this table will be empty, guys. We are going to upload the photo of one of yours tomorrow. Then automatically this table will be filled. Okay. So table is ready. The next thing is we need to create the corresponding entity. Uh, so we know that does not matter any number of tables you create in the back end. The front end will not talk to your tables, but the front end talks to the replica of the tables, nothing but your entities. Okay, so let's go to your SEGW project to create a corresponding entity. So this is our project. Go to data model, right click, import DDIC structure. So name is photo entity. So entity name I have given as photo entity, and this is ZB70 underscore photos. Click next. Pull all the fields. Click next. Give the primary key, which is employee ID, and finish. All right. Now, one important point to be remembered: whenever you create an entity for the tables, which basically stores your file content, that is nothing but the media related content, that particular entity must be marked as thing and media. So basically what I'm telling you is you double click on your entity types. So all the entity types will open here. Now there is a two properties here, thing and media. So these two must be checked against the entity which is carrying the file related information. So this is a designation entity. This is not carrying any file related information. And this is employee entity. Employee also will not carry any file related information. So this is project entity. Project entity also will not carry any file related information. But this photo entity will be used in the front end. The photo entity will be used in the front end to upload the photo. Photo is a file, correct? Photo is a file. So whatever the entity that will carry your media related content, that entity must be marked as thing and media. I will tell you a scenario what happened in one of the projects when uh, the people have developed the back end code, front end code, everything they have written, but this particular entity is not marked as thing and media, and the front end person is shouting on the back end person saying that this is not my issue, so I'm sending the file. The back end person is saying, boss, if you are sending the file, I should get the file in my OData method. I'm not getting I'm not getting the file. That means there is something wrong in the front end. So like this, these two people are fighting each other. Okay, so front end person is saying, no, I have written the appropriate code for file upload, so it is not my issue. The back end person is saying, if you have written the appropriate code, then why the file is not coming? The file should come. So these kind of cases will happen if you do not check these checkboxes. So let me tell you what is the meaning of checking this checkbox. Whenever you are sending a file related content, that is media related content to the from the front end to the back end, to carry the file related content, you need to mark that entity as thing and media, indicates that this entity is of uh, capable of carrying the file related content from front end to the back end. So if you do not mark this thing and media, then this entity can only carry your JSON payload like my employee data, project data, or any other data. So a normal JSON data only this entity can carry. The moment you mark them as thing and media, then media content is nothing but files. So the file related content also it can carry from front end to the back end. So in that project, whatever I told as an example, so we as a center of excellence team, we went there and the moment they told the issue, we immediately understand that they might have not checked these two checkboxes, thing and media. So I just went there and checked these two checkboxes and the application is working. So these are the cases where the issue seems to be from one end, but it is actually on the other end. Okay. So even in that project, manager also accepted like it is a front end issue because the file is not coming to the backend. If the file comes to the backend developer can do something. Since the file itself is not coming from front end to the back end, the project manager also, when he's telling to us, he told like it's a front end issue. Okay. But we understand like it is back end issue. So most of the cases are there in real time, which seems to be from one end, but actually they are from the other end. Okay. Right. So the moment you check these two, then this entity got the capability to carry the file related information from front end to the back end. Okay. All right. Now generate the runtime objects. That is why if you have the knowledge on both front end and back end, then if any, when you go to the real time, you no need to type the code, but at least if you have the knowledge like how the OData works and all, nobody can deceive you. Okay, the backend person, if he says, no, the file is not coming, then it is your issue, then you can ask him to open his screen and you can check whether he has checked these two checkboxes or not. Okay, so these kind of things will be very helpful. All right, now next thing. So everything is fine. Let me open the metadata document here. Dollar metadata. So now you will find one extra entity type called photo entity, and it is saying that it's a media. This entity can carry has stream true means this entity can carry the stream. Stream means media related content. Thing type is also related to the media related content only. So these two, if this is true, that means in the front end, sorry, in the back end, the developer has checked these two checkboxes. So if you want to check whether these two checkboxes are checked or not, you no need to open really the back end. You can simply see them from the metadata document also. So that's why the metadata document is Bible, Quran, and Bhagavad Gita for a SAP UI5 developer. Okay, right. And these are the fields of the table. So this is what you need to understand. Right. The next thing is we need to write the code in the file for file upload and file download. Now listen, for file upload, where do you write the code in your project? So in the DPC extension class, there is a special method. See what all we are seeing now. Create dependency is one special method. Okay. Now we are going to see our second special method, and that is create underscore stream. Stream is nothing but a hexadecimal string. Create stream. Normally, stream means any media related content is called stream. Okay, that's why you will call Netflix streaming. It is streaming on Netflix, streaming on Amazon Prime. Okay, so any media related content is called a stream, and create stream is a special method in the DPC extension class given by the OData framework to write the code for file upload. So when you write the code in the front end for the file upload, it automatically goes to the back end into this method, okay, to this method. But we know that SAP UFI will not talk to the to this particular backend method. Then how SAP UFI will call this method? It is through the OData service URL. So you will write the base OData service URL slash, and then you will keep this photo entity set, which is this one, photo set. Yeah. So this is the URL that we use in the real in the front end to hit this create stream function. Okay, so let me just keep this one as well. I'm just taking only the relative path, right? So this OData service URL, if you use in the front end, then it will go and call the create underscore stream function. Got it? Okay. So for example, if this is a normal entity set like employee set, then which method it will call? It will call employee set underscore get underscore entity set if it is a normal entity. But this photo set is not a normal entity. This is marked as the thing and media. You can see I have already shown this one. So since it is marked as thing and media related entity, so that is the reason it won't call the photo set underscore get entity set, but it will call the create underscore stream method. Okay. Now let us see the logic we need to write. Logic is pretty simple, guys. See, your table is having all these four fields and you need to fill all the four fields. Okay. So from the front end, you need to pass the values for employee ID, file name, file type, and file content. So these four you need to send from the front end. How do we send it from the front end is tomorrow's class. You don't worry about it. Now, once you get these values in your create underscore stream method, so you need to save them in a structure, and from the structure you insert into the table. That's all. Okay. Let me just open. So let me open the DPC extension class. So first I will show you the create underscore entity method. So let us come down. Yeah. So if you see create underscore entity, so what are you doing here? You are using IO data provider hyphen read entry data, and you are reading the employee details into ls underscore data, which is a structure. So you can see ls underscore data is a TS, means table structure. Okay. So structure of employee table. So structure of employee table means one record it can store. So the data type is matched. And what are you doing? You are inserting this table, insert B70 employees from this particular structure. So that's all, the record is inserted into the table. Correct? But here it is a plain data. It is a plain JSON data. So you have this IO data provider hyphen read entry data method using which you have read the data that is coming from the front end. But more or less the logic is you need to get the data and store this in a structure, and from the structure you insert into the table. This is your structure and you need to say insert my table from this structure. Now let's go to our create underscore stream function to check if this IO data provider, which is a parameter, so if this object is there or not. If this object is there, we can write IO data provider hyphen read entry data, and we can get all the file related data into ls underscore data. Okay, so let's go and check. So this is create underscore stream. This is the create underscore stream, and now let's redefine this. This is my create stream special method and redefining it. All right. Now let's come to the bottom and see, is there any IO data provider here? No, there is no IO data provider. So why there is no IO data provider? The IO data provider can read only the JSON plain data, okay, not your media related contents. So when IO data provider is not there, then uh, how do you get this data that is filled in the front end? Okay, so let's say from the front end I'm sending 100,001, the file name as Venki.jpg, the file type as this is image JPG. This is the file type, and this is the hexadecimal content of the file, for example. Okay, so in such a scenario, so how do you read this data that is coming from the front end? Because there is no IO data provider here. So this is what you need to understand when you are dealing with the create underscore stream method. Luckily, SAP OData framework has done our job very easily. Okay. Now let us see how this comes to the front end. Sorry, from front end to the back end. In the front end, the front end developers need to send this employee ID, which is a primary key, and file name, employee ID, and file name. So these two will be concatenated with a special character, something like this. So 100,001 employee ID and file name. For example, the file name is, let me remove. Okay, so let's say the file name is Venki.jpg. So these two will be separated with a special character. In our case, the special character is comma. You can use comma, or you can use slash, you can use semicolon. So whatever the special character you want to use, you use it. Some people, some developers ask the front end people to use slash. Okay. So remember, the primary key and the file name must be separated with a slash, and they need to send this to a slug parameter. So when you send the employee ID and file name like this to a slug parameter, there is a parameter called slug, S-L-U-G, slug. This value will come and sit in this IV underscore slug. IV underscore slug, which is a string data type variable, type string. You can see IV underscore slug, which is of type string. So two fields has reached the backend, your employee ID and file name. So these two from the front end, when you are sending, you need to send with a some separated by some special character. Might be slash, might be comma, it's up to you. Now in the backend, what we do, we split this particular IV underscore slug, which is a string data type. You can see it is of type string. So I can split this by using a slash. So when I split this using a slash, I can read this one into employee ID variable, and this one I can read into some file name variable. So successfully we got employee ID and file name. Then what about the file type and file content? So how do we send this file type from front end, that you will understand in tomorrow's class? But whatever the file type and file content that you send from front end to the back end, when it reaches the file type and file content, when it reaches the back end, The OData framework will capture both file type and file content. It will capture automatically and store them in this particular structure called is underscore media underscore resource. It's a structure, is media resource. Okay, so let me just open it. So it's a structure with two fields, my dear friends. This is is underscore media media underscore resource. Is media resource. This is media resource is having two fields. The field number one is called one second, MIME type. Okay, this field number one is called the MIME type. MIME type, and the field number two. So this second column basically is called as value. Now, what happens is from the front end, when you are sending the file type and file content, as I told you, OData framework will capture the file type and store that particular file type in the MIME type column. Okay, so it will come like this, JPG. And from the front end, whatever the file content, the hexadecimal string that you are sending from front end to the back end, so this hexa string will be saved automatically in the second column. Okay, so that means all the four values you have got, right? So let me keep this one here as well. So your file type and file content, so these will come and sit in a structure is media resource. Okay, so my is underscore media underscore resource hyphen MIME type. So MIME type, so this contains your file type, and similarly is media resource hyphen value. So value, this will contain your file content. Got it, guys? So now I have all the four values. I have the employee ID, I have file name, I have the file type, I have the file content. So all the four values I have. So from the backend perspective, this is not a big code actually, because OData framework is already capturing all the things and giving it to you. So you are doing nothing. So pretty simple code that we need to write here. And once you get all the values, keep them in a structure and insert that, insert your photo table from that structure. So that's all, guys. So very plain and simple code. So let us keep it here. So whatever I explained in the notepad, the same to same code will be there. So don't see this declarations. So declarations may confuse you. For non-ABAPITs, I'm not talking about ABAPITs. B70 underscore photos, employee ID variable, and then the file name variable. I've given 50 characters, but you can give character 100 also. Just let me edit the code. Yeah. Now let us see the code, guys. Declarations you will automatically understand. Don't, whenever I look at the code, I don't see the declarations first. First, I will straight away get into the logic. See, first we need to get the employee ID and file name. So employee ID and file name you are sending like this, and this will be saved by the OData framework in the slug parameter. So split IV underscore slug at comma or slash, whatever you want. Okay, so if you want to separate them with comma, you put comma here. If you want to separate them with slash, you put slash here. Okay, so split this select parameter with a comma, and once you split it, so this will be broken into two parts. Now save the first part in LV underscore employee ID, because first part is employee ID, and save the second part in file name. So now we got employee ID and file name. Okay, right. Next, we know that IS media resource MIME type will have the file type, and we know that IS media resource hyphen value, so we'll have the file content. IS media resource is directly given here as a input parameter, directly given here. Okay, so we need to keep all the four values in our structure. So that's the reason I declared ls photo. Ls photo is the structure of type your photos table. Now in this structure, I'm filling employee ID, I'm filling a file name, I'm filling file type, I'm filling file content. All the four I have filled. Now the structure is filled with the front end data. Now what do you need to do? So you write insert or modify. So modify will update the photo. Insert will insert the photo. Okay, so you can use this special method for both scenarios, create and insert. So modify my B70 underscore photos table from this ls underscore photo. So this will insert the record into the table. This will insert the record into the table. Now, according to the OData protocol, whenever a insertion is happened, you need to send the same record as a response to the front end. To send the same response, some response to the front end, we need to check the returning data parameter. But since it is a special method, remember for all the special methods, direct returning data parameter will not be there. You can see no returning data parameter. But still, this is a kind of returning data parameter which is ER underscore entity. ER means exporting record underscore entity. But the data type is it is some generic data type. So that's the reason we cannot do a direct assignment to the ER underscore entity, but we need to use this special method copy data to ref, and you need to pass this data ls underscore photo. This is the record that got inserted. So this will be assigned to is underscore data, and ultimately this will be converted into er underscore entity only. Okay, so indirectly we are keeping that in er underscore entity only, but not as a direct assignment. Okay, so that's all. Let's activate this. Click continue. Right. So with this, we have successfully completed the file upload code. Now let us see the reverse, that is file download code. Okay, so how to download the file. Right. Uh, Now let me explain how to download the file. Now this is our table which is storing the file's information. So this is your employee ID, second one is the file name, third one is file type, and fourth one is the file content. Okay. Now let's say I uploaded the file 1000001. The file name is venki.jpg, venki.jpg, and file type is image slash jpg, and file content is some okay, so a to z, a to f. So let's assume this is the file content. Now file download, let's see how it happens. So we always know that SAP UEFI will not talk to any backend method. SAP UEFI talk to the SAP OData service URL. For file download, guys, the corresponding method in the DPC extension class is get underscore stream. And how this method gets called, this is my OData service URL slash the corresponding entity set, which is photo set. And now within the round brackets, you need to mention whose photo you want to download. That is primary key of the table. See, this table is storing so many employees' photos, right? So many employees' photos will be there. So whose photo you want to download? So you need to send the primary key. So 10000 2, for example, and then you need to say slash dollar value. So which is part of the syntax. Getting my point? For file download, the URL is your entity set within the round brackets, the primary key. And if you leave this like this, if you leave this will not call your get stream function. I will show you. Okay, so if you simply leave this and hit enter, then it will call method photo set underscore get entity not implemented in the data provider class. I do not want that record. I want the hexadecimal string. So this method cannot give you the hexadecimal string. So that's the reason we need to add slash dollar value. So when you add slash dollar value, now let us see which method it is calling. Now you can see the method get underscore stream not implemented in the data provider class. So remember the hexadecimal string that is stored in this table, if you want to return this hexadecimal string to the front end, only the getStream function can do it. Only getStream method can do it. So that's the reason you need to add slash dollar value, and this is the URL that you need to hit in the front end to call the get underscore stream. Fine. So we have called this URL, and the get underscore stream function is getting executed. Now, what is the logic? So just think from the logical perspective. So what should be the logic that we need to write? From the front end, SAP UI5, you are getting the employee ID 100001. So this employee ID, you are getting it from front end. Now, can anybody tell me whatever the primary key that you are sending from the front end, primary keys always captured by the OData framework, and primary keys will be stored in a table, internal table. Can anybody tell me which table it is? Can anybody tell me in which internal table this primary keys will be stored automatically? Come on, guys. We have read so many primary keys in our previous classes. I'm just implementing this get underscore stream. Okay, so let me show you this parameter. At least now tell me in which internal table the primary keys will be stored. If you can't tell now, then there is no meaning in attending the training. I have shown you all the parameters. So in which internal table the primary keys will be stored? Hello. These are the parameter lists. So in which parameter the primary key is stored?
IT key tab.
IT key tab, that's the correct answer. So IT key tab, it's a table for name of the key and value of the key. So the first thing you need to do is read this primary key. Read the primary key. So that is step number 1. Step 1, read primary key from IT key tab, right? So read table IT key tab, IT underscore key underscore tab with key, name of the key is equal to employee. Okay, and you store it in a structure, or you store that in a structure. Now you got the primary key. So obviously you need to store that in a structure. So let's store that in a structure. So let's say this is a some work area kind of thing, and this is emp id, and this is the value. Okay, and the structure name. So we'll give ls underscore emp id or something. Okay, ls underscore data, for example. So ls data hyphen value gives me the primary key. So with the step number 1, you will get the primary key whose photo they want to download. Step number 2, get the complete record, get that single record from the table, which is basically having that primary key. Okay, so how can I get this record? So you can write select single star from my table ZB70 underscore photos, where emp id is equal to employee id is equal to ls data hyphen value. So what I'm doing, I'm just reading the corresponding record, because this table can contain thousands of records. The table can contain thousands of records. I need to pick the exact record that is requested by the end user. End user is asking 100,001 photo. So I need to pick the exact record. So this is step number 2. Now I got this record. Now I got the corresponding record, and that is this one. So this is the record I want. I got it. Now in this record, what front-end user is asking? The file content to be downloaded, right? So he wants the file to be downloaded. So if you want to download the file, guys, what are the things you need? Obviously, you need this file content, and you also need the type of the file. You also need the type of the file to be sent from backend to the front end. You might be wondering, Rizwan, why do I need the type of the file? I just need file content. Even though you send only the content of the file, see, once the content of the file is get downloaded, it will be, if you do not send the type of the file, that will be in a unknown format. Okay, but if you send the type of the file also, the moment it downloads with a image icon. It will understand, okay, this is of type image, to let your computer know that I'm going to download a image, I'm going to download a word, I'm going to download a PDF. So how your computer know that it is basically of type Word document or image or PDF or XLSX? So how? So for that reason, we need to send both of them, file type and file content. So these two we need to send. So since we already know the record, so from this record, can't we send these two? Yes, we can send these two very easily. Correct? So how to send these two to the front end? To send these two to the front end, you need to declare the same IS media resource structure. You need to declare a variable of type, IS underscore media underscore resource. IS underscore media underscore resource. So we know that IS media resource is a structure with two fields, MIME type and value. Correct? We already know. IS media resource MIME type can store the file type, and IS media resource value field can store the file content. So I will declare a variable of this particular type. I will declare a variable of type IS media resource, and I know that this structure IS media resource is having two fields. One is MIME type and second one is value. So I will fill the MIME type with this file type, and I will fill the file content with this file content. Okay, so file content means value, value means file content. So I will fill with this one. Now this IS media resource variable, whatever you have created, so variable which is of type IS media resource. So this is already pointing to your exact file type and exact file content. And if you send this particular variable to the front end, so if you send this to the front end automatically, so you are sending a hexadecimal string and you are also telling like this hexadecimal string is a image automatically in the front end that gets downloaded. Any technology you take, whenever you are downloading, do you know what happens? So that file content, maybe it is a hexadecimal string, it is a binary string, so whatever it is, so that gets downloaded along with the file type. Okay, so this is the logic that we need to write. This is step number 3. I will repeat the summary of the logic. Step number 1, you need to read whose file need to be downloaded by reading the primary key. Once the primary key you got, step number 2, point out to the exact row. So how can I point out to the exact row? By writing select a single star from this table where employee ID is this. Now you will get the exact record. From that exact record, you pick up the file type and file content and save them in a IS media resource structure and send it to the front end. That's all, only 3 steps. Okay, so just give me a second. I will pull out this logic from the project. And sharing my screen. Your photos table into a structure. So don't look at the data. Get the data declaration again. So you will automatically understand the code. See, step number 1. Oh, by the way, I need to edit it. B70 underscore photos. Yeah, that's all. Now, what is step number 1? I said, what is the step number 1? We told this. So read the primary key, correct? So that is the exact code. Read table IT key tab into LS key tab with key name equal to employee ID. I got the employee ID in LS key tab. Step number 2, select that record with that particular employee ID. So select single star from your photos table into a structure. So obviously you need to select that record and keep that in a structure. So where employee ID is this. Now that single record is present in LS photo. I read this table with this employee ID and whatever the record that you got, so you need to save that record in a structure. So this is my structure, LS photo. You can see LS photo is of type this table. So this LS photo can hold one single record of the table. And after that, I need to declare a variable of type IS media resource. So you can see I declared a variable of type this IS media resource, and I am saving my MIME type with the file type. So this is what is the arrow indicates. Okay, so MIME type is filled with the file type and value is filled with the file content. So ls photo hyphen file type and ls photo hyphen file content. So these two I'm saving in the ls media resource structure. And then by using copy data to ref, so you need to send this variable to the front end. So my MIME type and value, that is file type and file content, these two are saved in ls media resource. So you need to send this to the front end. And there is no returning that directed data parameter, no returning parameter, but this er underscore stream exporting record stream is there. So which is a generic OData type. So you need to use the special method copy data to ref and pass this, and that's all. This will be internally converted and keep your data in er underscore stream. Okay, so same concept, just like in the create. Now let's activate this. Okay, I think we need to use copy data to ref is invalid. One second, guys. I think in the get stream we need to use along with the okay, so sharing back my screen. So in the get stream function, this copy data to ref direct, if I'm using it, it is not working. So use call method, this particular interface, and then this copy data to ref method. Okay, then it won't throw any error. So here, me is a standard object, guys. Yeah. So now this got active. So with this, we have successfully completed the backend part of the file upload and file download. To be frank enough, this is pretty easy code, guys. So your OData framework is doing almost 80% job, and OData developer is doing some 10 to 20% job. Okay, because your file, employee ID, file name, everything is automatically captured by the OData framework only. So you are just collecting them and saving it. So similarly, during the download also, so during the download, you are writing your logic. Okay. So you are picking up your employee ID corresponding record, and then you are storing that in IS media resource variable, and then you are sending it to the front end. So tomorrow, I need at least one of your photo. So who will send your photo? I request everybody send your photos to my WhatsApp so that I will just see every batch people send their photos.
Sir, I'll
Okay.
provide you.
Yeah. See, in every batch, we have the photos of the people. Okay. So you can send your photo. We'll upload it against your profile picture, against your profile. Okay. All right, guys. So tomorrow we'll see the front end part of file upload. Okay, if you have anything, you can ask. Otherwise, you can leave for today, and we'll meet in tomorrow's class. Okay, fine, guys. Then have a nice day. Bye bye.